what you have to understand, जो मेरे कंट्रोल में है मुझे वो करना है, लेकिन जो मेरे कंट्रोल में नहीं है आप उसमें कुछ नहीं कर सकते.
One more thing is increasing in this competitive world or in this modern world, that people are not giving time to their people.
If anything that makes you feel happy and you're comfortable, believe you me, you don't need validation.
Inferior complexities are increasing and people are losing their worth, they are losing their self-control, and they feel like ki we are out of this world's space and we have no space in this world. हम तो कुछ है ही नहीं, खराब हो गया, सब कुछ बर्बाद.
If you know, if you believe what you've done has really impacted the company and you've nailed it the right way,
Right.
you should have gone to your boss and say that, call me next time when you really need me. I was bang on today.
Right.
If I'm feeling powerful, I'm very proud of things.
Okay.
You know, I feel that people can trust. That's power. You know, I'm feeling courageous to take risk. I can make new decisions. लोगों को हर चीज लगता है ego. People say ego है जी, बहुत ego है. Everything is not ego, and let me say ego is not a bad motion.
So ladies and gentlemen, in my ongoing life, I have been facing a lot of issues of, emotion, turmoil, mood swings, a lot of anxiety, stress, and lack of decision making, self-control, regulation, self-motivation. So somebody actually referred me, Radhika Mahajan ma'am, who is industry trainer, DTU professor, and absolutely a great psychologist. So I met her and now I want to get counseled by her. Welcome to this podcast, ma'am.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great that you reached out to me, and this is a great opportunity for me to explain, to add some value to the viewers, to your organization, and it's going to be like, a mutual learning city. So once again, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, ma'am. But I'm going to be a student today. For always, I'm a trainer, I'm a coach, but I'm going to be a student and my teacher, my coach, Radhika Mahajan ma'am today. So I want to understand, first of all, as we always talk about emotional intelligence, EI, not exactly AI. So describe me or define me what is EI.
All right. So very simply, I don't want to use fancy words. I really don't want to use technological things. But I want to start explaining EI with a simple thing that in today's time where people are just doing three things.
Okay.
People are just rushing, ranting, and reacting.
Okay.
What, Abdullah, if I tell you there is that one superpower that can really make you, simply look like a divine emotional leadership, and that is pause.
Okay.
This means your ability to read the room, to hold your tongue, and understand how people are feeling the way they are feeling.
Okay.
That's a complete superpower in today's time. So when you're talking about AI, when you're talking about digitalization, robotics taking, going places all over the way, always remember one thing. A human advantage, human competitive advantage, nobody can beat.
Nobody.
Nobody can beat. So as a trainer and as an expert, I want to tell all the viewers, please understand one thing. AI can write a love letter for you. They can't make you fall in love.
Great.
So when we talk about emotional intelligence is your ability to understand yourself, self-awareness, to manage your emotions, to regulate them, and to take care of others' emotions as well. So I would say that emotional leadership is something that all leaders are talking about. And it starts rarely from when your child is actually in school. So it should start at that point of time.
Okay. You highlighted rushing and ranting, right? So I want to understand why the world is being so rushing. And like we go to the metro station, we see the people rushing towards metro, catching the metro towards, their offices and a lot more. So are they physically rushing or mentally rushing, and how are they rushing?
They're rushing in both areas.
Okay.
They're physically and mentally, they're rushing. Why? Because people really don't know how to schedule their day. Now, when I say physically people are rushing. So for example, if I say that, Abdullah, I'm giving you $86,400.
Okay.
That you can't bank. You have to spend it in a day, and you have to spend the entire money. You don't spend the entire money, everything gets lost. You can't bank it. Tell me in fraction of seconds, what will you do about it? How will you spend that money? Tell me.
I rush.
You rush? Yeah. Now, if I say that these 86,400 is not dollars, they're seconds. And I have to spend. How will you spend? Will you rush? Will you rush?
Now you have put me in a, complicated zone. Yes, so I'm not going to rush then.
What will you do? How are you going to spend on things which are
I'm going to just, celebrate it, enjoy it, pause it.
simple?
Right.
Yeah, answer. People are rushing physically more because time management is something, it's a science. People don't know what to do about it, right? So people are just rushing. They don't know how to manage time, right? Mentally, people are rushing because they're not self-aware. Self-awareness in what they're feeling and why they are feeling.
Right.
Self-awareness is the first thing, people are talking about emotional intelligence. It starts with self-awareness.
Right.
So why am I feeling the way I'm feeling now? And why am I reacting the way I'm reacting? So if I start writing it down, if I do journaling, if I do, conscious mind mapping, I will narrow down my emotions. That's called self-awareness.
Right.
Now, very recently, I was like counseling, a couple of parents. So they were like telling me that, their kids, they're into depression. Can you beat it? Parents saying kids are into depression, and because now the kids are saying we are in depression, so the parents, it works like a, the energy,
Right.
the impact is multifold.
Right. Right.
Audience, depression is a very strong word. You have to understand that.
Fact.
A person who's actually in a depressive mode will not be able to get up from the bed. पर बच्चा अगर आपका स्कूल जा रहा है, गेम्स खेल रहा है, स्पोर्ट्स कर रहा है, फ्रेंड्स के साथ एंजॉय कर रहा है, they're doing everything that they want to do according to their comfort. And when it's about deliverables, when it's about giving something, adding value, doing the right thing that you should be doing, we are in depression.
We are not.
And we are not. So this is what you have to understand. Emotional intelligence starts with self-awareness. Then it starts with self-regulation. What is self-regulation? Every emotion has a span of some seconds.
Okay.
Yeah. Or maximum, it rushes through your body for 9 minutes maybe.
Okay. Max.
Max is 9 minutes.
Okay.
If you're able to regulate yourself, give yourself a pause during that time. If you select not to react at that point of time, if you select to stay calm at that point of time, you've regulated your emotions.
Okay.
In a room of people, always understand people are making a lot of noises. I am competitive, he or she is competitive, somebody's missed the deadline, somebody's not, done things well. Instead of going through an emotional turmoil, being a reason for an emotional turmoil for the other person, you're able to regulate your own emotions just for a span of 9 minutes.
9 minutes.
You're sorted. Through this emotional intelligence response cards that have developed, right? With a lot of survey, with a lot of research, and a lot of trainings that I've done with the 8 years in the companies, I've understood one thing: anger. Anger is an emotional response that mostly people want to give. Why? Because this is very easy. मुझे गुस्सा बहुत जल्दी आ जाता है.
Right.
Let it be children, let it be middle-aged people, let it be anywhere. So anger is one thing that people say that, we can relate to this emotion very well. हमको ये बहुत जल्दी आता है.
Right.
To understand, if you're not able to regulate your emotion for 9 minutes, and what you're giving others,
Right.
you can't even imagine.
Right.
If you've lashed out on someone, in your anger, you're letting it down to the other person. The people feel humiliated, bitter, mad, aggressive, frustrated, distant, critical,
Right.
dismissive, skeptical, numb. There are people who say हमको कुछ feel ही नहीं होता,
नहीं हो रहा.
just because you lashed it out in a way
Right.
that was just not correct.
Right.
People feel annoyed, withdrawn, infuriated, hostile, provoked, jealous, furious, violated, indignant, ridiculed, disrespected, resentful, and betrayed. So just imagine the intensity of emotions. So your 9 minutes of self-regulation, if you would have done it aptly, if somebody would have taught you, trained you, you would have not done this to others.
No other reactions.
No other reactions.
Right.
So we have to understand that, and at times when we are not able to do this at offices, at professional workspaces, we take this home. We do it with our families,
Right.
and the easiest target is our kids
Right.
and our spouses. Yeah. So what we are doing, we are giving them all this, and in turn, we are creating an angry person. Because वो 9 minute के बाद आपका lapse हो जाएगा, आप normal हो जाओगे, but that person, you've created a chain for that person.
Right. Okay. So let's understand one more thing here. Like, we get angry, we get frustrated, right? But how to control it? This is a very important question.
Yes, it is. There are a couple of techniques when we say that, how to control all this, how to be emotionally aware. One is that, please understand one thing. The more you write about your emotions, the better it gets.
Okay.
Because, the more you write about journaling, which we call as journaling, then we say breathing techniques.
Okay.
Breathing techniques are very important.
Right.
Very important. So the grounded rule is inhale a deep breath, exhale slowly, and then tell yourself to pause.
Okay.
Pause for 9 seconds, and then let that rush go.
Okay.
Let that rush go. I want you to do it with me. Inhale deeply. Whatever you're feeling emotionally, let it be. Exhale all the negative emotions out. All the negative emotions. Take a pause. Take a pause. Don't think anything at that moment for 9 seconds. Cool. Tell me how you feel.
Relaxed.
Yeah. Yes. And I always advise all my participants in my trainings that before you go back home, you are entering, your work, your safe spaces, where people are really waiting for you. Please do these techniques in your car before you are reaching out to your family members. And of course, whenever you are starting your day, start your day with these breathing relaxation exercises. It really helps. It really, really helps. So
sometimes it happens like when we are frustrated regarding something or with something, or we are more anxious, more rushing. So when we start breathing, like, we can't control our breathing sometimes. Like, we are trying to inhale, exhale, we are trying to calm ourselves, but it's out of our control. So what to do in that case? Is there any exercise, any yoga, any meditation?
see, very honestly, times when we see that the breath is becoming out of control.
Yes.
And times we feel that, we can't breathe also. मुझे सांस नहीं लिया. I can't breathe. It's too much for me to handle.
Exactly.
It's too much for me to handle.
Exactly.
Wherever you are at that point of time. For example, here, if I'm feeling breathless, I'm feeling out of control, I'm feeling choked.
Choked.
So I'm feeling choked, so everything is still here. I feel that now I can't breathe. Please leave that space for that moment.
Okay.
Go anywhere you want to.
Okay.
Go for a walk, go for a stroll. Just leave that space, that environment for some time. For some time. Please do not sleep at that point of time.
Do not sleep.
No. The reason is the moment you go to sleep, when the emotional rush is too high,
Okay.
especially the negative emotional rush is too high, that means you're feeding that rush more.
Okay.
And in your sleep, please understand, unconsciously, you will create scenarios that will take you more deeper. So you, in that case, you're taking a deeper dive into negative emotions that will never let you come up. So होगा क्या, आप उस नींद को तोड़ना ही नहीं चाहो. You will say मुझको और सोना है,
सोना
है, मुझे और सोना है. क्यों? क्योंकि आप सबकॉन्शियसली उन सिनेरियोस को बिल्ड कर रहे हो और उन मेमोरीज को जी रहे हो.
Okay. So sometimes it happens like when we start walking, like, we are like, completely, out of control. We are walking, the breath is increasing or the BP is increasing. It is a part of, like, I don't understand. Is it like anxiety, stress, depression, mood swing, or this emotion out of control? What is this exactly?
When you're walking,
We are walking, we are rushing, we are running. Like, we can't stop ourselves sometimes. कि रुके तो मर जाएंगे, रुके तो कुछ हो जाएगा, ऐसा कुछ हो जाएगा, वैसा कुछ हो जाएगा. A lot of, thoughts are there that we are not able to control those thoughts. And sometimes it also happens with us ki if there is a, small disease, we take it to the big disease, like, oh my God, is there any cancer? Is there any tumor on this and that? So a lot of misconceptions are there and exaggeration is there.
Yeah.
Regarding negativity.
Yes. Uh, so to answer your first part of the question, that there are times that when we are walking too fast, we feel that now if we stop, something's going to happen to us.
Exactly.
So I keep on walking and walking subconsciously, without even realizing how much I have exerted my body, right? Just because we don't want the mind to think
Right.
anything.
Right. Right.
So in that case, we are struggling with thoughts.
Okay.
We are just struggling with thoughts. चल के आपके thoughts ठीक हो जाए, ये तो समझ नहीं आया मुझे आज तक.
सही बात.
The best, चलना है अगर आपको, make a routine that morning or evening you're going to parks. You're going to parks where lush greenery is there, because nature has therapeutic properties, right? So when you're walking around that nature, so maybe for 40 minutes, half an hour, that's good.
Right.
More than that is craziness.
Exactly.
चल के किसी के thoughts आज तक clarify नहीं हुए, let me be very clear. You're just torturing yourself more.
Okay.
You're torturing us better. The best thing is that please write down what you feel.
Okay. Write down what.
Please write down what you're feeling. Once you write it down, you become more precise, you become more aware,
Right.
you become more mindful about it.
Right.
So सीधा बोलना मुझे anxiety है और मेरे को चलना है. Anxiety तो बच्चों को है, वो जो nail bite कर रहे हैं. What about that? Yeah, there are people who are, so there are people don't understand what is emotional intelligence. That's the problem.
Exactly. Right.
That's the problem. I would like to quote Deepika Padukone. We all know about her, right? How fondly she has spoken about her depression.
Right.
So if you really want to see what depression is, what it can do, you have to really go through her life cycle,
Right.
right? And she's the only woman who has created so much of an awareness in the Indian market about mental well-being.
Right.
Now, if you see how she managed, how she navigated her emotions and came to a time that, she became a star and started living her life. So that's emotional leadership.
Right. Fact.
That's emotional leadership. And how it came forward. What did she do about it? It was just vulnerability and acceptance of facts that what's happening. That means advocacy.
Okay. Let me move to this chart, like where you described about angry, like when we get angry, so we just create these many, problems. But now, what do you think, like which is the best word and which word should be selected by each and everyone? By me, by you, by each and everyone.
Great. So, see, I have listed emotions here. The broad emotions are here. And, how these broad emotions, categorized, are here. So this is angry. This is fearful. This is bad. Now, suppose I say that, Abdul, I'm not feeling that good today. So what will you say?
What happened, ma'am? Is everything okay?
So I'll say, yeah, everything is okay. It's just that I'm not feeling good about it.
Yes.
I'm feeling bad about it.
Yes.
What would you say?
Then I will say, like, what may I do? Or you just go for a walk, or you just go and watch a movie, or go have a cup of coffee, right?
Yeah. So that means you finished it here. I never wanted a solution from you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Emotional intelligence says that if I'm talking to you that, Abdul, I'm feeling bad about it, please hear me.
Right.
Active listening. I don't need a solution for
Exactly.
मुझे solution पता है. अगर मेरे को करना ही है वो, then why am I sharing my emotions?
Exactly right.
I'm sharing my emotions with you because I was somebody who could mindfully just listen. Pure listening for understanding. Right?
Right.
And not coming forward with solutions कि पीछे छूटा मेरा, मैंने दो बातें बोली, ये कर लो, वो कर लो.
चलो निकल लो.
Yeah. If I say I'm feeling bad, maybe I'm bored. Maybe I'm showing that I'm too busy. I'm stressed. Maybe mentally, physically, psychologically, I'm tired. I'm saying I'm feeling bad. Maybe there was a couple of projects, assignments that I'm not able to focus on.
Right.
I'm feeling sleepy. I am just out of control of my emotions. I'm overwhelmed. I'm rushed, pressured, apathetic, indifferent.
Right.
So could we see if you would have understood emotional intelligence, rather than giving me a solution, okay, what can I do for you? Or why don't you go for a walk or do something that makes you feel better? A high emotional intelligence person usually says that, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Why are you feeling out of control? Okay? Is there a rush in your body?
Right.
Let's talk about it.
Right.
So you have to open that window for the other person to explain. So maybe from feeling bad at that point of time, she would naturally come to a super zone of feeling surprised.
Right.
वो automatic होगा.
हाँ.
वो ऑटोमेटिक होगा. अपनी उन्होंने फीलिंग्स आपसे शेयर कर ली.
शेयर कर दी.
Now she'll feel surprised. So she'll say, yeah, I'm feeling really better now. I'm feeling amazed, Abdullah. I'm still better. I'm feeling better. I'm feeling, though I'm confused. Mixed feelings. Maybe I'm now a little excited.
Excited.
So now once you're cracking a joke to her, she understands your humor.
Right.
So she's being little playful. Very naturally, the only emotion which is easy and the most positive emotion is feeling happy.
Happy. But it's hard.
It's easy. The सारे emotions के बाद you smile, you love. You tell me. And then we were talking about this part of emotions.
I was very serious.
Yeah, we were serious. We were like, okay, अच्छा ऐसा भी हो सकता है. And the moment I said that, okay, we from surprised, we come to
Then I
feel happy. You smile, you laugh.
Right.
Because this emotion is the most easiest emotion to practice.
Right.
Now, what happens with us is psychologically, we are, brainstormed in a way, we are groomed in a way that small things, they don't make us happy. Happiness for us means a lot.
Okay.
A lot.
A lot.
And a lot.
Right.
So if people understand that when they are celebrating their small wins, that's happiness. That's a moment of happiness. Please celebrate it.
Right.
If it gives you immense joy, please do it. There's nothing that can take you away from feeling happy.
Right.
So it's very difficult to practice negative emotions, but it's very easy to feel happy within yourself, regulate your emotions, navigate the feelings, and please understand why the other person is feeling.
There is a question like, all the people are office goers. So when they rush or when they go to their offices, they're like, oh, come on, it's like a duty. I don't feel good. I don't feel happy. I feel bored. So what's your message for them that how can they celebrate this moment? कि office जा रहा है और मस्त है, खुश है.
Okay.
हाँ.
So to all the viewers who are professionally at their workstations, going out, for their work, to perform, to grow, to develop, to explore, to understand one thing. If you just want to be another face in the crowd, do what you're doing.
Right.
If you really stand out and ace your game in leadership, you can't do away with emotional intelligence. Emotional leadership is the key for new things. AI is not. Let me tell you, AI is not. So, the way you're handling your teams, the way you are giving pauses to them, what choices you're making. You choose to really rattle over a small thing, over an email, and make like heaven for somebody who's just opened an email first thing in the morning, do that. Or you make a choice to stay silent, calm it down, take pauses, and the second half of the day, you want that, okay, let me just have this person over for coffee, and let me try and understand why the delay. Let me try and understand the why. So that why is very important. And believe you me, it does not take too much of time.
Fact.
It does not take too much of a time when you know how to do it.
Actually, it does not take that much time. But the problem is that people are feeling neck to neck competition. They feel कि कहीं वो पीछे ना चले जाएं, लोग उनसे आगे चले जाएं, पैसा लोग ज़्यादा कमा ले, मैं कम कमाऊं. So somewhere mentally they are harassed, they are occupied, they are trapped. So it's like a trap. So how to get out of this trap कि अगर हम कहीं बैठ के कॉफी पी लेते हैं तो हमारा कोई नुकसान नहीं है.
Okay.
हाँ.
So you have to understand one thing. Success. What is success? Success in today's time and in coming times, it does not say that how fast can you do something.
Okay.
एक को टास्क को छोड़ के दो को डांट लगा के तीन को और डिसअपॉइंट करके you're moving forward. That's not success. Let me tell you very clearly.
Right.
Success in today's time and in coming times doesn't mean that how fast you're doing things. It means how fast you can build connections.
Okay.
So once you've broken a connection, without managing emotional intelligence, you can never build anything.
Okay.
You can never build anything because networking is the key. You go places, you see all the CEOs, what have they built? They have built connections.
Right.
And we are not robots, right? We are humans. We work, deal, and prosper with emotions. So emotional humility is very important. There's a difference, Abdullah, between empathetic and sympathetic. When you say that, I have sympathy for you, I know what you're feeling, but what can I do? Targets are important.
Right.
That's not being empathetic. That's being you're sympathetic. Sympathy will take you away from people.
Right. Right.
But empathy will get you
Yeah.
closer to me.
Right. Right.
It doesn't take time, but it's just that you must know how to navigate it well. If people, if audience, whoever is, watching this podcast, if you really see, with a lot of detailing, what emotions can do to the other person,
Right.
what kind of an impact it can have in your ecosystem, I'm sure what you have to do. Yeah.
This is a fact.
See, some things are in our control.
Right.
Whatever you can do, in your own capacities, you can do. But 90% of the things are definitely in our control.
Right.
10% of the things that are not in our control, I think leave that to the other person.
Okay.
Do it. Yeah. What you have to understand, जो मेरे कंट्रोल में है मुझे वो करना है, लेकिन जो मेरे कंट्रोल में नहीं है, आप उसमें कुछ नहीं कर सकते.
ठीक है. That is
The other person has to fight the battle.
okay. Yeah. Sometimes what happens, like when we want to achieve something, so to achieve it, we have to offend someone or hurt someone or somewhere stay away from them. For example, my wife is calling, but fortunately or unfortunately, I'm not married right now. But so my wife is calling me for actually a party or to go out or dine out.
Yeah.
But here I am occupied in this, podcast with Radhika Mahajan ma'am. So somewhere she is being offended, but I am achieving my material world. So what to do in this case?
Prioritize.
Okay.
Plan.
Plan. Prioritize, plan.
And plan.
Okay.
And when you prioritize, when you plan,
Okay.
you will know what you have to do. If meeting me and taking this podcast is a priority, then you would do this first.
Okay.
And if going around with her and, having a good time with her is a priority, of course you will shift the podcast somewhere else.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And what should be the priority?
That you have to decide.
That I have to decide.
Of course that you have to decide.
As a leader, what will be your message and motivation?
Okay. So as a leader, I would say that, why is it that, we juggle between emotions and we juggle, in our relationships and at our workstations is because we don't prioritize, we don't plan, and we don't conduct a meeting. And then we don't come back to a revision. Supposedly, I say that for today, for me, coming to this podcast was a priority. Yeah. This was a priority. So I had planned it 4-5 days before everything. And I had ensured that, whatever I was to do in this slot, keeping a buffer of 2 hours extra.
Exactly.
You need to keep a buffer. That's called planning. Planning is not what you have to do. Planning is also that what you're not supposed to do.
Okay. What you're not supposed to
What you're not supposed to do.
Okay.
That is also planning. So I had kept that 2 hours of buffer in case, there are some technical issues, in case, there's a delay, anything can happen. So I need to give that fair 2 hours of upper to the whole thing.
Right.
And when I go back, I resume back to my other things. Please prioritize, plan it accordingly, do your meetings, do a lot of brainstorming, and please come back to the schedule also. So that means from meetings, come back to your planning. That is there a change that I need to make? And then come back to your priority also.
One more thing is increasing in this competitive world or in this modern world, that people are not giving time to their people. Right? They're very, they go back home, they're swiping the phone, they're checking the share market and all these business and this.
Yeah.
So they're like, wife is calling, kids are calling, okay, I'm busy, I'm occupied, I'm not coming to you. What do you think on this point?
Yeah, you just show that you're busy because the whole day you were at work. Maybe you did not manage your time well.
Exactly.
You did not just manage your time well. Urgent and important things, you have to address them first thing in the morning. Prioritize your day. So, for example, I'll give you an example, to clarify more on this aspect. Now, suppose I say that, Abdullah, on a piece of paper, just write, whole 1 week, how many podcasts you took. How many podcasts you took,
Suppose.
and who all are the people that you really dealt and met with. So what would you say?
Okay, so I have conducted 10 podcasts. Okay, great.
And now I'll say that reverse the sheet and list down that the people whom you have podcasted, how much close they take you to your vision, to your goals, to your commercial turnovers.
3 out of 10.
See? This is what you're doing in your time when you have to work. This is what's happening.
Right.
This is what is happening.
So I'm not actually, getting 100% profit.
Of course. Why? You know, the time when you have to work, you're not doing things there. So there, you're taking care of your distractions. You are inviting distractions. You're not decluttering yourself. You know, you're watching reels there. And by the time you're coming home and will last moment rush of 2 hours, you have to do everything. And now when you come home, it's not you're physically tired, you're mentally tired. Mentally tired. Because maybe some things that you were supposed to do, finish in a day, you've not done that.
Right. Right.
So please do that. What's needed, you really need to do that.
Right.
Fix things first. I can't fix things which I can't see. Simple.
Yeah. Fact.
Can you fix something that you can't see?
Can't.
So you really need to see what you're doing. So please understand that, you know, when your professional workspaces have given you a time window to perform, there you have to perform. So that once you're coming back, mentally you're relaxed and you're ready for the next journey. People are waiting for you at your places. Like, you have to understand one thing. The kind of emotions you're giving them neglect. Maybe that's what you're doing. What 80% of people are doing is neglect. I'm tired. I really need time for myself. I am tired. I need time for myself. तो उसमें मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ? Reels.
I'm neglecting
everything else. So in that time, have you just, you know, after a rest for an hour, after a shower of some time, have you gone back to your people and said that, okay, how was your day? Okay, can you play a sport together? Can you play a game together? Did you speak to your spouse about how did her day run? You know, what was the rush of the day? What are the things that you can help her with? You did not do that. And then you command a lot of love. You command a lot of acceptance and you command everything.
Right.
Let me tell you, you're asking for the wrong things, doing the wrong things. So please see what you're investing in. Your energy, your time is money.
Right.
You have to invest very wisely, very mindful. Please be very mindful. Nobody needs hours of your time. Maybe a small sport with your child over a weekend can do everything that it all takes.
Fact.
Yeah. Maybe, you know, once you're coming back from work, you just twice a week, maybe you can tell your partners, okay, I'm just coming down. I want you down. We are going out for coffee. Let's do it first thing, you know, once I'm back.
Fact.
So what you're doing is the real time that the two of you need. You're investing there very mindful.
Right.
Just over a cup of coffee.
Right.
And you're doing the right things.
Okay. You highlighted 3 words: rushing, reacting, and ranting. So I did not highlight or I did not ask any question related to reacting. For example, this world is full of reactions. I say somebody, hey, you look ugly today. Hey, how dare you to call me ugly? Like, I'm not ugly. Like, you know, I will just shoot you, kill you, this and that.
Yeah.
So people are reacting so much. And how do you justify these reactions and how to control these reactions? How to convert reactions into response?
Yeah, a very insightful question that you've asked today. You know, there's a difference, of course, we know that there's a difference between response and reaction. So we react only when we seek validation from the outside world.
Okay. Validation.
मुझे validation चाहिए आपसे. आप मेरे पे क्यों चिल्लाए? मुझे आपसे validation चाहिए. मेरी power आपसे क्या?
Right.
Because we are, you know, structured in a way that we seek validation. जब तक मुझे किसी ने ये नहीं बोल दिया ना, you're looking good, मुझे feel ही नहीं होगा. No matter how much I have worked on myself, no matter how much I have been through the year, the kind of discipline, the kind of regime I'm following, it just doesn't matter to me.
Fine.
What matters to me is somebody over an event telling me, oh wow, you look gorgeous. Because we are too much into seeking validations from the outside world, talking about how to control it. To all the people out there, if anything that makes you feel happy and you're comfortable, believe you me, you don't need validation. You have to give validation to your own self. I am good. I'm feeling good. I'm looking good. Nothing else can take it from you.
Right.
But if you get into the habit of seeking validation, today you're seeking validation for one small thing. How am I looking? Tomorrow you will seek validation for your own identity also.
Right.
आपका confidence इतना खत्म हो जाता है कि even if in a meeting you've just spearheaded everything, you've just run across a negotiation, you've cracked the best deal for the company, until and unless the CEO tells you that you were good, well, you nailed it, आपको लगेगा मैंने कुछ किया ही नहीं.
किया ही नहीं.
और फिर क्या होगा कि जब अप्रेजल का टाइम आएगा,
हाँ हाँ
उन्होंने आपको नहीं दिया
हाँ
तो आप भी नहीं उसके लिए लड़ोगे,
fine.
क्योंकि आपको तो उनका वैलिडेशन फर्स्ट प्लेस पे चाहिए था. बट ऑन योर कॉन्ट्ररी, if you know, if you believe what you've done has really impacted the company and you've nailed it the right way,
Right.
you should have gone to your boss and say that, call me next time when you really need me. I was bang on today. Yeah,
ये होना चाहिए. This should be there.
this should be that.
Right. But
Don't seek validation.
don't seek validation.
Because आज आप खुद validation seek करोगे, कल यही चीज अपने घर में भी करोगी,
Fact. Fact.
फिर वो चीज बच्चों में भी आ जाएगी. It runs.
It runs.
It runs. So stop it. Teach your kids. Teach your partners also. You don't need validation. Somebody saying that, how am I looking? Is my dress appropriate? You looking? You feel good about it? You feel good? Rest. Nothing matters.
Nothing matters.
यही चीज आप सबको अपने घर के कल्चर्स में सिखानी
ये
चाहिए.
ईगो तो नहीं क्रिएट कर देगा.
Never.
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 It is self love.
No, it's not self-love.
Self validation.
It is self-birth.
Self worth. Okay.
मुझे पता है मैं क्या लग रहा हूँ. मुझे पता है what I am. I know where I am in life. I don't need somebody else to pull me down.
Fine.
I don't really need somebody else to pull me down. I have the metal to really take it through.
Right.
So it'll just build confidence.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then in the world, you would not need negative emotions. You would not need depression, anxiety, failures. You would not need, you would not have to go to the counselors. Why? Because that seed of self-worth, you're developing at home. It starts from home.
This will be one of my last questions. Like, let's talk about like inferior complexities are increasing and people are losing their worth. They are losing their self-control and they feel like कि we are out of this world's space and we have no space in this world. हम तो कुछ है ही नहीं, खराब हो गया, सब कुछ बर्बाद. और वो सेल्फ इन्फीरियर कॉम्प्लेक्सिटीज बढ़ती चली जा रही है. What to do and how to control this?
वो घर पे ही start होती है.
अच्छा, that starts from home.
That starts from home. That starts from home.
How?
Okay, let me give a very small example. Now, supposedly, your child is brilliant, amazing in academics, right? But the child is really not good in extracurricular activities.
हाँ. ऐसा.
और वो weight gain करना start हो. वो academics में बहुत अच्छा है, but physically you see that the child has become obese.
Okay.
So, you have motivated the child a lot, but it's not working. You tell the child that, okay, let's go for a couple of sports. That's not working. So what happens is you started building through your comments and criticism in a way
Right.
that the child has lost confidence in the body. बच्चे को confidence ही खत्म हो गया. बच्चे को बोल के आपने confidence खत्म कर दिया उसका. तो क्या होगा when the child turns into teens or maybe at a later stage, उसको वो confidence ही नहीं आएगा.
नहीं आएगा.
जब तक 15 लोग उसको ये ना बोल देना,
हाँ.
oh you look so good,
तब तक उसको लगेगा.
उसको लगेगा ही नहीं.
हाँ.
So it starts from home. It starts from a very early age.
Parents.
Parents, society,
Most of
peer
the time.
pressure.
Peer pressures.
See, parents have to really, it is a duty and the responsibility of parents now to inculcate the right moral values in the children.
Right.
And the moral values are not anymore to be a good person. The moral values are basically now that how people should feel once they interact with you.
Right. Right.
That's the biggest moral sacrifice. और वो बचपन से ही सिखाओ.
बचपन से सीख.
को बचपन से सिखाओ.
बट मेरे ख्याल से यहाँ के पेरेंट्स, दिल्ली के पेरेंट्स बच्चों को लोगों से दूर रख रहे हैं आजकल. They're like, hiding their kids. कि ना, don't step out, don't play, don't socialize.
The reason is that you're not talking to them the right things. That's why उनको लगता है कि क्योंकि आप उनको इतना टाइम नहीं दे रहे हो, आप इतनी स्टोरीज नहीं सुना रहे, आप moral values उनको नहीं सिखा रहे through stories, through connections that they can relate to. क्योंकि आपके पास टाइम नहीं है, या टाइम है तो आपको फोन देखना है, आपको गेम्स खेलनी है, राइट? तो ऑब्वियसली जब आप नहीं ये सब कर रहे तो आप चाहते हो you yourself living in a cocoon, so बच्चा भी वही रहेगा ना.
वही रहेगा. Right. Absolutely.
Now, if I'm giving my daughters the right exposure, the right understanding, I'm explaining them the nuances of life, so they're free to talk to people
Exactly. Fact.
and come back to me and say that, okay, I met this person today. And something very surprisingly happened. I'm carrying that thought in my mind the whole day. So here, she has a purpose to talk to. और आप बच्चों को खुद भी cocoon में हो, बच्चों को भी रखोगे तो they'll never have a purpose.
They will never have a purpose.
They'll never have a purpose.
They will always seek someone to help.
Of course, always.
Always.
So all these insecurities, they develop at a very young age. At a very young age. So some moral values that I would tell all the parents, all the viewers, is that please teach people the humanity aspect of how people should feel once they interact with you. Yeah?
Right.
How are you treating others? And it starts from your domestic helps at home.
Right.
That's that's the first place. You don't have to. देखो हम कहते हैं कि भाई हम बच्चों को क्या सिखाते हैं कल को तुम काम करने जाओगे. Is this how you will talk? तुम अपने पेरेंट्स से ऐसे बात कर रहे हो. Is this how you will talk? That's really not the right way to tell them. Yeah, this generation is हमने इतना exposure इनको unnecessary दे दिया है. From the outside foreign nationalities, which was not us.
Right. Which was not us. Right.
Which was not us. Now, once you've given them the exposure, at least use the right terminologies with them.
Right.
Yeah?
Right.
So, once you're giving them some social values, explain what human interaction means. Right? What is the concept of a happy person?
Right.
The way you are interacting with your domestic helps. Sorry. Thank you. Right. Somebody is giving you a glass of water. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I love you so much. All this is very important.
Right. Right.
And it really starts from home.
It really starts.
It starts from home. Your parents are coming back from work. Tell them, speak to them how you need to, address your parents. If your father is looking tired and he's currently not in a mood, please come, greet for a while and say that, do you need anything that I can help you with, Papa? Is there anything that can make you feel better? Maybe, I've just learned to prepare shikanjbi. Can I do that for you? And see what happens.
Right.
Magic.
Connection.
Yes. Tell them how important it is to connect with people,
Right.
not with technology.
Right.
So आज के parents क्या करते हैं? Because they don't want to give time to people, इन्होंने बच्चों को टेक्नोलॉजी में डाल दिया.
है.
अब वो जो टेक्नोलॉजी का इम्पैक्ट आ गया,
हाँ.
जैसे कि बच्चे हमारे हैं ही नहीं,
है ही नहीं.
ये तो गैजेट्स के.
हाँ.
किसने डाला? आपने डाला.
नहीं दिया.
आपने दिया. Get them back to yourself. That's important.
Right. The very, very insightful answers, insightful thoughts. I think it's amazing. So we'll be showing ma'am will be showing you a game. Through that game, you can understand about, emotional intelligence. Let's do it.
Yeah.
We are with our emotional intelligence podcast and conversation with Dr. Radhika Mahajan ma'am. And she has a great game to show and explain about emotional intelligence.
Great. So I have made this game on emotional intelligence to for having a greater meaning, to understand a steeper and a greater meaning, that how positive emotions help us whenever we are climbing. Okay, so what kind of positive emotions we feel, and the moment there is a snake who's biting us, so it's not just one negative emotion that we feel, how it works. Okay, so you want to play?
Yeah, sure. I will be playing it. Okay, it's quite an interesting game.
3.
Okay, I have to keep it on 3. All right.
Minus.
All right. Yeah, so I need to go with this.
6.
6.
Pick any in 6.
Okay, I need to keep it. Do it again. So I'll be doing it again. Sorry, just 1. So I have to. Okay, that one I have to just peg it to the 1.
2.
Okay, fine. 3. So I need to go on this. 2. 3. So need to come on this. 2. 4. 1.
Wait. Now here you are to
Okay.
climb a ladder,
Okay.
right? This is a positive feeling ladder.
Right.
We are feeling very positive,
Right.
right? So you feel inquisitive,
Huh?
you are eager,
Okay.
you're amazed,
Yeah.
you feel energetic,
Yes.
excited,
Yes.
and at the last you feel surprised.
Wow.
So these are, emotions. So if somebody is feeling surprised, you have to really understand that maybe today he's surprised. हम कभी-कभी बोलते हैं ना, why are you behaving as if you're surprised? So हम उसके इस positive emotion को negative convert करने की कोशिश करते हैं.
Oh.
Please understand, the person is inquisitive,
Okay.
happy, eager, is excited.
Right.
There's a lot of energy which is flowing. So please use that energy in the right way. So whenever we have a positive emotion, that positive emotion is really building up. So I'll just show you
Fact.
3.
Do I need to?
Yeah.
That's it.
Do it. 4.
So I need to take a 1.
No, from
I need
here.
1. Yeah.
Wait.
Oh.
Now just see that, a negative emotion. Now when you say that I'm feeling disgusted, Dr. Radhika, you're not only disgusted, you're feeling excluded.
Right.
You're feeling horrified,
Right.
scared,
Right.
rejected,
Right.
and repelled.
Oh.
And you have to understand that, if somebody is feeling disgusted by your behavior, it's not only the person who is feeling disgusted now. Look at the variety of negative emotions the person is going through.
Right.
So please be very watchful about how you're treating others, manage your emotions, regulate. There are times that you really have to motivate yourself and you have to motivate others also. Keep doing that. Work towards connections. When we're talking about social awareness, when we're talking about social intelligence, it's about connections. It's about collaboration.
Right.
So this is how I have built this game, wherein people, when they play this game on emotional intelligence, they understand, that even if a positive emotion has to, if we are climbing a positive emotion, what all things, we are climbing.
Right.
And when we are coming to a negative emotion, what all we are dealing with.
Right.
How bad one can feel with a single lash out. What one can feel when, when we're expecting others to understand our emotions and we choose just to neglect them.
Right.
We choose just to avoid. We choose, we can address this later. Nothing can be addressed later.
Okay.
So if somebody needs, an emotional help, somebody needs to be heard, an active listening should be done. And there are various techniques that one can do to really feel good about it.
Right. So it means that negative emotions or negative things are gonna bite you or gonna just sting you,
Yeah.
and you're gonna come down.
Of course,
Right.
you'll come down professionally, you'll come down socially, you'll come down in your relationships, you'll fall back in your relationships, right? You will see that, your growth, whether it's professional, personal, it will definitely take a steeper turn.
Right.
And whenever you are embracing positive emotions in yourself and in others, you will always see growth.
Right.
आप सीढ़ियां चढ़ोगे, भले वो personal relationships है, भले वो professional developments है. So if you're taking care of your positive emotions, the way you're treating people the right way, you will see yourself and others ladding up.
Right. Right.
And when you're not being mindful about how you're treating others and yourself, when there is zero self-awareness, right? When every time you need somebody to tell you what you're doing, why you're doing, that means it's a reality check. Boss, you really need to do something about it. You really need to seek help.
Right.
That's important.
Right.
Yeah.
This is quite interesting game, right? So I would love to, capture it in my phone, so I'll keep it. And another point is just, so somewhere if there is one emotion, it's not a single emotion, it is interconnected with multiple.
These are interconnected emotions. We have to say that today, I say that I'm feeling very powerful today. That power is not, I would say that I'm feeling strong. Yeah. Or I say that, I have power because, I have reached a position in life. So some people misinterpret all that, right?
Right.
If I'm feeling powerful, I'm very proud of things.
Okay.
I feel that people can trust. That's power. I'm feeling courageous to take risk. I can make new decisions. I can take bold decisions. I had the courage to really try something new out of league. I'm feeling a lot respected. That's why I'm feeling powerful. So people generally don't know how to navigate the real sense of emotion. लोगों को हर चीज लगता है ego. People say ego है जी, बहुत ego है. Everything is not ego, and let me say ego is not a bad motion. It's not a bad thing also. But you must know how to navigate your ego into self-esteem.
Right. Self-esteem.
Self-esteem.
Positivity.
Positive, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Fantastic. Fabulous. And this was quite interesting, So somewhere I just reached to the top of my emotion with happy and excitement and enthusiasm. But also the snake bite me and I came down.
Yeah.
I was disgusted. In the last of this session of this amazing and special podcast, what will be your message for the viewers that for their emotional intelligence and to grow them emotionally?
See, you have to understand one thing that we can't do away with emotions. If you think you really need help, you need some kind of a training, some kind of a little understanding about how to navigate emotions, don't feel hesitant in seeking help.
Right.
When I say seeking help, you don't have to go to the doctors. You have to come to experts. That's, who can really train you through that.
Right.
Experts like me, there are experts like him, there are experts around the world who can train you over emotions.
Right.
And believe you me, trust me, you really don't need doctors for this. Because doctors, they will put you on antidepressants, they'll put you on, steroids, and you just don't need that. All you need is clarity and purpose in mind, which experts can give you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mac. It was great and amazing, very insightful podcast with Dr. Radhika Mahajan. And it was amazing through ladders, through chart paper. She explained insightful things. And today, being a student, I have learned a lot. So thank you so much, Mac.
Thank